Hey Duck fans, Kurt here. Welcome to yet another FishDuck one-on-one, and this week we are bringing out the big guns. The 2012 season is upon us, volleyball and soccer are already underway, and the first football game is almost here. So with that in mind, we welcome the Associate Athletic Director at the University of Oregon, Craig Pintens. He's here to discuss some of what fans can expect for 2012. So if you're an active user of social media, you already know Craig very well. With all the random rumors that spread these days, the one rule seems to be if there's if you want to separate fact from fiction, nothing is true until either Craig Pintens or Andy McNamara tweets about it. So with that, thank you, Craig, for taking some time out of your very busy schedule to talk to us.
Hey, Kurt. Well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on. I've watched a lot of these on FishDuck and just privileged to be a part of it. You guys are doing great work over there.
Well, and so are you as well. You are the Associate Athletic Director, but it seems like you kind of have your hands in just about everything over there at the University of Oregon. Shouldn't a more appropriate job title simply be miscellaneous?
Well, I think a lot of times in job descriptions they have other duties as assigned, and that seems to be a little bit of a catch-all sometimes. And so, yeah, there is definitely a lot going on. It's a great time to be at the University of Oregon. There's so many positive things going on. We just wrapped up probably one of the greatest years in the history of Oregon athletics. I know you guys have talked about that, and that's for fans to debate, and it's a great debate, but it's tough to match up. We had 8 teams finish in the top 9 in the country last year, and the scary thing is if you look at the rosters of our teams and where our teams are projected to be this year, there's a good chance that we could have an even better year than what we just had, which is scary to think because I think for Oregon fans, we're really in an unprecedented place, and the scary thing is we can get even better.
These days, it seems like with the age of the internet and so much information, it kind of becomes stupid season sometimes. So some of the rumors come out. I know I have to deal with it a lot. Apparently, I'm a voice of reason amongst Oregon fans. They come to me and say, is it true? Is it true? And I always respond, did Craig Pintens comment on it yet?
Well, that's funny you should say that, Kurt, because a lot of times when something is going on, whether it's coaching rumors or NCAA talk or whatever it might be, there's a lot of times where fans they will ask. They'll ask either myself or Andy McNamara because both of us have accounts and are pretty busy, and so we'll get asked. A lot of times, there's some things you just can't say, you can't talk about at the time. The best way to diffuse that is try to be humorous or say something to let people know, hey, there's a little bit of a hidden message in here.
Calm down. Just chill.
Step away from the ledge. Things aren't as bad.
Well, what I love about the way that you and Andy both handle social media is there's so much random facts and little tidbits come out that you two spread, and instantly for like a week later, Oregon fans are buzzing about it. Oh, did you know that this guy had X amount of yards and it set this record? Or there's always the weird random stuff. Somehow Chip Kelly's celebrity hot tub became a story all summer. And then, oh, by the way, there's death penalty sanctions worse than Penn State and SMU combined coming down on Oregon tomorrow. It's like, so sometimes you just have to sit back and just think, are you serious? Really?
Yeah, no,
calm down.
I hear you. I think that Andy McNamara does a great job on social media. He's one of the best in the country, especially at getting information out about the football program, getting any little those tidbits that you see. A lot of the tidbits that you see on social media, they debut there with Andy McNamara, and then he later broadcasts them. You hear him on a TV broadcast because he's kind of sharing it with fans first. So it really is a great opportunity to give that information out, but more importantly, we want to be able to, not just myself, not just Andy, but as a department, we want to make sure that we're responding to the fans and engaging with our fans. So if the fans ask a question, I'll answer it. Andy will answer it. Our accounts will answer it. We'll try our best to answer it. Sometimes we don't know all the answers, and we'll say, hey, we don't know that, or let me look into it for you. But we want to engage with the fans because the fans are our most valuable asset. And if we're not doing that, then we're not doing our job.
And those random rumors that do pop up seem to spark the strangest times. We all remember that one very long night in February when suddenly Chip was leaving.
In January, actually.
Okay, in January. Chip was leaving for Tampa Bay, and it was about every 5 to 10 seconds I was getting a new message. I'm sure your phone was blowing up all night as well. Both of us having to be kind of the voice of reason. Just calm down, just chill, relax, we'll see what happens. Until Craig Pintens comments on it, It's not true.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly, but it was, when situations like that happen, it is a fascinating study in social media, because social media is a great tool. It's an awesome tool in terms of getting your message out. But sometimes what happens is there's not always the verification that you would normally see in a story. And there's always what's happened in modern media. And I think just let me clear this up. I think our local reporters do a tremendous job.
Yeah.
They're very good. Everybody over at the Registered Guard, the local TV stations, the Oregonian, they're professionals. They're journalists to the utmost degree. Have a tremendous amount of respect for all of them. And they're not. That's not exactly who I'm talking about. But there's a rush to be first.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be first, and so what tends to happen, unfortunately, is you're relying on sources that maybe don't have anything. They might have just made something up, and it's like the giant game of telephone. Something that it just gets misinterpreted, and it expands and expands, and all of a sudden, you got Sasquatch was seen hanging out with Casey Martin.
Yeah. I do want to touch on the game day atmosphere and some of the policies associated with the University of Oregon to remind fans about that. But first, I want to touch on just a little bit of how exactly you ended up at the University of Oregon doing what you do. I know previously you were at LSU and you've been with some other schools. So what's the backstory? How did you end up all the way in Eugene, Oregon?
Well, I grew up in Wisconsin. I'm a huge Packers fan. So, and there was a recent study actually that Oregon, the number one NFL team in the state of Oregon, is the Green Bay Packers. Yes. So I guess I'm in the right place. But grew up in the state of Wisconsin, went to University of Wisconsin Whitewater, which is the 3-time reigning Division III national football champion, also the reigning Division III basketball champion. So they got some good things going on. Attended law school at Marquette University. Didn't ever want to be a lawyer. Was an intern for a year at Marquette. Then went to University of Texas Pan American for 2 years. Texas Pan American's along the border of Mexico, about an hour west of South Padre. Went back to Marquette for 5 years, and then I was at LSU for the past 2 years prior to being at Oregon. Ironically enough, accepted the job to come out here to Oregon on the Tuesday before the LSU-Oregon game. Oh. So you talk about an awkward press box situation. Yeah. I was wearing my LSU polo, actually tweeting from the LSU football account that day, and I had told the guys in the office, I'm like, you guys sure you want me to tweet from the LSU football account? Because, if LaMichael James scores in this game, it's going to be, wow, what an awesome run by LaMichael James. The Ducks lead 21-7. LaMichael's the front runner for the Heisman. They're like, yeah, we're not going to have you do that. Well, anyway, they did let me do it, but came here because of the outstanding opportunity. You always want to look at the opportunity, and this position here at the University of Oregon, we have such a tremendous brand, and we are going in an upward direction. Despite the fact that we have one of the top brands in college athletics, we want to be the national brand in college athletics, and we have a tremendous opportunity to do that, and that's why I'm here.
Where you're centrally located, we now have the Mo, we have practice fields, we have PK Park, and we have a new soccer and lacrosse field. And we're slowly chipping away at what used to just be one massive parking lot. And the ongoing concern is, where do I park now? So looking at the season that's coming up soon, I know there's LTD does a great job of being able to provide transportation, but what are the options? What should people be aware of with parking this year now that some more of the parking lot's been taken away to allow for these new soccer and lacrosse fields?
Yeah, first of all, the new soccer lacrosse field is fantastic. It's going to really help out those programs. I've had a chance to tour it. It is an amazing facility and second to none for two programs that are on the rise. And so that, a lot of times fans that are only fans of football think, well, they just took away parking for football. Well, we did, but we're also supporting two programs that I think are going to do a tremendous job in that new facility. So parking this will be the worst year of parking because we actually lost a few more spots with the construction of the football operations building. So parking is kind of at a premium. I know there are some parking spots available. I heard this today in the Boy Scout lobby. I know they have some parking spots that are still available. So there is parking. Shuttle buses are always a great option.
So to compensate for those few lost spaces, I read recently that the University of Oregon has done something really interesting, expanding on the tailgating opportunities. Certainly there's nothing like tailgating game days at Autzen Stadium, and you've now done something special and unique that fans can enjoy, right?
Absolutely, Kurt. And what we've done is outside the East Gate, in the parking lot, there's a little bit of space there, and we decided, hey, what better way to use this space than to put up some tents and to allow fans to tailgate there. So we've actually have some tailgating options. You cannot get a piece of real estate closer to Autzen Stadium than this. It truly is right across from the stadium. The East Gate is right there. You can walk out of your tailgate. It's tailgatepal.com if you want more information about it. But it's another opportunity for fans. You know, everything's going to be set up for you. You basically show up. It's set up, they clean up for you. You can't beat it, and it's a great location. And it's something that hopefully fans will take advantage of because, again, parking is a little bit limited, but it's an opportunity for fans in a space that would otherwise not be utilized.
Absolutely. Then there's always the issue of tickets. Oregon tickets are always at a premium. Usually they're one of the most expensive in the Pac-12, but that's because of the whole supply-demand curve. You don't have enough seats to accommodate everyone who wants to be at the games. Now, there's been some complaints in the past about how students acquire their tickets through the online lottery system. There's been complaints that I've actually experienced firsthand. I've heard this from other fans too, associated with the Mashofsky Center. The pregame atmosphere is fantastic, but when you go in, you have to remember to get a hand stamp. I've gone in, come out, and I didn't get the stamp, and after traveling 1,000 miles, I almost didn't get to go watch the game. So has that policy been changed any regarding the ticket policies or how to access things?
No, everything will pretty much be the same as it has been in terms of that. And, you know, part of it is just from a control standpoint, making sure it's tough when you have a indoor facility like the Mashofsky Center and you're hosting a great pregame event there. You need to make sure that just from a security purpose that everybody there does have a ticket and they're able to get into the game. But, you know, really with tickets, we're very fortunate. We have an 82-game sellout streak. Hopefully by the time this rolls, we're really close to selling it out. As of the taping of this, we do have quite a few tickets left. And part of that is a product of it being against a team that isn't going to travel real well. They're not going to actually bring a lot of tickets to the game. Typically, a visiting team section is 2,000, and Arkansas State is probably going to be in the 300 to 400 range for tickets, leaving us with about 1,700 tickets or so left. And then with the students not being here,
right,
you're looking at another 3,000 tickets that normally would be filled by students going crazy. So as a result, we're left with quite a few tickets left for that first game, and you know, hopefully we're able to sell it. If not, I guess the streak is going to unfortunately end at 82. But we know the fans that will be there are going to be there and be loud and continue to create one of the top home field advantages in all of college football.
Well, that would be really disappointing if coming off of the first Rose Bowl victory in 95 years, the streak ends.
It is. And, you know, I think, you know, we hear fans on the ticket prices. I mean, ticket prices have gone up. They have gone up, and you know, that part of it is we want to continue to compete at the highest level. We're at an unprecedented point in this program's history. Won our first Rose Bowl in 95 years, have gone to 3 straight BCS games, the only team in the country right now with that kind of streak.
Yep.
So we are really among the elite in college football. Unfortunately, from a financial perspective, we're not. We were 32nd in revenue last year, actually 2 years ago because we don't have the full data from last year, but we generated $27.7 million. In comparison, Alabama, who won the national championship last year, was up over $83 million in football revenue. That's a significant difference. And their ticket prices are relatively the same. You know, if you took a poll of the top 25, AP top 25 season ticket prices, our prices would be right in the middle. Yet we're continuing to compete at a high level. And not only are ticket prices in the middle, our stadium size is in the top 25, one of the smallest at 54,000. So in order to continue to compete at that high level, we need to be able to generate the revenue that is necessary to make sure that we not only pay for the expenses of our football program, pay for the expenses of all of our teams, because football is the engine that drives the train.
All the cool stuff that's now at Autzen, that doesn't come for free.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And we're very proud of where we're at, and we wouldn't be here without our fans. We're at this year our budget is $93 million, and it is a zero-based budget, meaning that we generate $93 million. Hopefully, that's what we're budgeting, but we're spending $93 million. And so as a result, if we're not fortunate enough to continue the streak and we fall a little bit short on our revenue goal, we're going to have to find a new source of that somewhere along the line to make sure that we can pay the bills.
Sports in general, it's a very passionate, very emotional thing. You get a lot of people in a place very passionate, emotional, that can sometimes cause tempers to rise. And the X factor that comes into that, on occasion, not always, alcohol. What is the university's alcohol policy as far as tailgating and the Moe Center?
Well, I think that obviously we're going to continue to allow in the Moe Center. I mean, that's a great opportunity for fans to go there, and they can, if they want to imbibe in alcoholic beverages pregame, that's probably your best place to go. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of options. There's actually, had this discussion earlier today, there are 4 beer options in the Moe Center. So if you're interested in drinking some beer, that's probably your best bet. But as far as just, obviously with any alcohol, people just need to be safe, drink in moderation. We obviously want them to, if they are driving, to have a designated driver and just to be safe out there for everyone.
And my understanding, at least at the game that I was at last year, I remember police and security were walking through the lot reminding people that you can drink before the game, but after the game is over, you're no longer allowed to drink on property. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so keep that in mind, fans. If you're drinking, make sure to finish it off before the game. Don't go out after the game and continue drinking it in the lot. So
right.
Any other do's and don'ts that fans should keep in mind for game days as we lead into opening kickoff?
Well, one do would be to wear the right color. The colors will be posted on the website. They'll be pretty prominent this year. If you have any question, go to our general Facebook page. That'll always have the color in the background. The flag will be flying at Autzen to tell you what color to wear that week. And with 4 games in September, that's pretty important. Another do is you need to be loud. We want to continue to maintain the reputation as having one of the loudest stadiums in all of college football. So make sure you rest up your voice all week. If it means not talking to your family for a week or talking to anyone, then do it. If it's going to maintain the strength of your vocal cords for Saturday, so do that. As far as some don'ts, don't ever wear orange. Don't ever wear purple.
I know you are a very busy gentleman, especially with the season right around the corner, so I can't thank you enough for taking some time out to help us all better understand, and of course for all of your great work. I can't commend you enough for the way that you make yourself accessible and interact with fans. I love the fact that one of the top executives in the Casanova Center also happens to be one of the best internet trolls I've ever encountered. I say that loving.
You know what? I do have on occasion I will troll a little bit. I try not to troll. I troll professionally, Kurt.
Right.
Professionally, but there's a couple subtle digs in there every once in a while, and trolling it ain't easy. We'll just say it like it is.
I say that lovingly, of course. I think that's something that you should put on a resume, professional internet troll.
Professional troll?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the work you guys do at FishDuck. You guys have I know you just celebrated your 1-year anniversary and continue to put out the great content for fans, because I think our fans really enjoy it. Obviously, we want them to go Ducks, but if they're not going to go Ducks, check out FishDuck.com. Obviously, you are if you're watching this video, but continue to check it out because it's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Craig. Keep up the excellent work. Craig Pintens, University of Oregon Associate Athletic Director. Troll hard and go Ducks.